were lying to me so you could get laid. And here I am thinking I'm insane, that I'm crazy, but you're the one that's throwing everything away. And for what? For what?
You are delusional.
I don't care how long you've been working here. I'm the head secretary, and what I say goes. So if you'll just
let me do my job.
If you let me do mine.
Don't tell me what to do.
I actually get to tell you what to do. I'm the head secretary.
I don't care.
You are really rude.
Just give me my paper.
No. I am going to be holding up the walls of my house until I'm old and gray and shriveled up and die. And that'll be after I've had the belt so many times I can't even sit down anymore. And then the wall will be the only place I can sit anyways. And I'm never going to go to another dance. I'm never going to go on another date. I'm never going to sing another solo. And I'm never going to star in a Broadway show. And I'm never going to dance again. You need to move.
Reagan.
Please. Get out of the way.
Don't do this.
I mean it. If you even breathe in Jake's direction, I'll make you wish you were never born. Have a nice day. My car got vandalized and somebody shaved my dog. Yeah, heck, I've even had grown men in here on their hands and knees crying and begging for me to get them an Aria booking. And I'm talking huge MMA dudes who could flatten a tank with a mean look.
I'd be willing to bet that they lack the one thing in these situations that truly matters.
Money, yeah. I win? I win! Yes! Take that, stupid teacher. I win!
Welcome, everyone, to another podcast. You will not believe who we have here. Rylee Reagan, actress. Now, she went as Rylee Jensen before, so she chose the stage name Reagan, which we will learn about later. Now, she's a dynamic actress and singer based in Salt Lake City, Utah. From an early age, she was immersed in the world of performance, taking the stage in various musical and theatrical productions. Her passion for creativity led her to discover film while studying at Utah Valley University, opening doors to exciting, fulfilling projects and collaborations with some of Utah's finest talent. Rylee's versatility shines in her performances across multiple mediums, from television and film to web series and theater. She's recognized for her work in Girl Who Vanished, which is just going to be coming out soon, correct?
Yes, on Lifetime.
Where Flowers Won't Grow came out last year, and one called The Witch of Wonderland, which you said is currently filming right now?
Yes, yep.
Cool. Her dedication to her craft has earned her accolades, including the Best Lead Actress award at the 2024 Utah Film Festival and an honorable mention at 2024 Zepstone Film Festival. Wow. Beyond acting, Rylee is a skilled mezzo-soprano. This is more important. No, I'm saying everything's important. But mezzo-soprano, she's an actress and a singer. Or are you a singer and an actress? She's got an impressive vocal range, beautiful, allowing her to captivate audiences in both musical theater and film. She has honed her skills through extensive training, studying techniques such as Meisner. I know all about the Meisner. Scene study, script analysis, and on-camera performance. Whether she's belting out a powerful melody, mastering a dramatic role, or embracing the adrenaline of amusement park ride, her absolute favorite pastime, Rylee thrives in bringing stories to life with passion and authenticity. Now, you have a valid U.S. passport and driver's license, so you're ready to take on new opportunities wherever they may arise.
Yep.
I'd like to ask you, Rylee, thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Really pleased to meet you and lovely that you're here.
Of course, yeah. Thank you for having me. What a wonderful intro. Thank you.
I always like to make people feel special. So, um, I also like the rendition of "She Used to Be Mine" from Waitress. It's a very powerful, and when I look at you, covered by Miley Cyrus it really shows your vocal ability. Amazing.
You. Thank you.
Can you tell me what inspired you to pursue acting and singing professionally?
Yes. So honestly, ever since I was a little kid, I always knew that's what I was gonna do. Um, I grew up singing, grew up doing musical theater. I think my first show I ever did was A Christmas Carol, and I was in the fourth grade. I got to play in this version of A Christmas Carol. Her name was Jen Scrooge, Scrooge's little sister in Christmas Past. Um, but yeah, ever since then, I always knew that this is what I was gonna do, and I was gonna do whatever it takes to make it happen. But yeah, I did theater up until I got into college, and the goal was always to kind of go the theater route, to move to New York, do Broadway, all that fun stuff. But when I was studying at Utah Valley University, I kind of fell in love with film, and I was like, I think I like film more than theater. I still love theater, of course, but film is definitely where my heart lives and thrives, right? But yeah, then I made the switch over to film back in 2019, and I've been doing film ever since.
So, do you prefer being an actress or theatrical actress or singing as a mezzo soprano in a theater musical production?
I mean, if I had to pick, I'd probably say film acting. Um, And the most perfect opportunity for me would be a movie musical. So, that would be the best of both worlds.
Or they write a musical just for you?
Yeah, yeah.
So, can you tell us about your journey from theater to film? Like, what was that transition like?
Yeah, so I got asked from one of the film students at UVU. They were doing a project where they had to, um, recreate a scene from a movie, and this was a scene from, um oh, the Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is the movie. And it was really fun. She had me I was playing Clementine, of course, and she got, this, like, blue hair chalk that I got to put in my hair, and it just was so much fun, and I remember sitting there, that was, like, my first time I ever was doing on-camera acting, and up until that point, it had always been theater, and it just was something about the intimacy of how close the camera is, how you're like bouncing off your scene partner just right there, and I just loved that feeling. I loved the closeness, and how close the camera can get to an actor, and how we can really dive deep into what that character is feeling. I think that was a big thing for me. I'm all about the deep nitty-gritty dramas. I love those. So, um, but yeah, after that, I moved to Los Angeles, and I lived in Los Angeles during COVID. Unfortunately, I lived there, moved there right at the end of 2019, and I was out there until the beginning of 2021, and I decided to head back to Utah. I do feel though I moved out to LA maybe a little prematurely. I didn't. I was like, I want to do film. Let's go, and I just did not even like think. I wasn't in any sort of film acting class. All my training was in theater, and but I'm still happy that I did move to LA, because we were planning to make the move back here pretty soon, and I know the area. I feel excited and I feel ready this time. So that's a little bit about my transition to film.
Did you actually think you lost out on parts because you moved back to Utah and you wish you had just stayed where you were?
No, I don't think so. I think I do, because Utah has a really good film industry as well. Um, I do think for me personally, I moved out to LA a little early, and I was a teeny, teeny, tiny fish in a huge pond of like in a huge ocean, really, of where I really didn't know how to navigate the industry at all. So it was nice to come back to Utah, really get serious about acting classes and training and getting with an agent. I had had I had had an agent before, here in Utah, but that was really about it. But I've been able to sign with reps in Los Angeles while being here in Utah, and yeah, so I definitely feel like Utah has been my place to kind of get all my crap together. And lucky enough, we've been able to train online with a lot of coaches. So I'm training online right now with Amy Linden. She's based in Los Angeles. She's absolutely incredible. But yeah, I feel like Utah's kind of been my prepping ground to go back to LA. I think it was definitely the right move at that time for sure.
So I take it when you have to do auditions, you don't do audition tapes. You don't have to go in person.
No, no, I haven't gone in person in a long time. I think the last in-person audition I had was actually a callback, so it wasn't really an in-person audition. But I had an in-person callback, and that was here in Utah. Probably I want to say maybe June, July of last year was the last time I had to do something in person. Everything else has been Zoom or self-tape.
Now, I was thinking of what you mentioned that you played Clementine, or you were practicing a scene from Eternal Sunshine of Spotless Mind. You played Clementine. Is this something they do usually all the time? Is that they take certain scenes from movies and try to recreate it just to test your acting skills? What was that like for you? Like, did you have to keep doing it over and over? And then you got to be Clementine. That's not how you do it. You got to do it this way. How was it for you?
Oh man, that was a long, long time ago. But I think specifically for this class, it was for her directing reel, I think is in her directing class. Um, but yeah, I don't remember too much of it. I remember it being a good experience. Um, but yeah. There's been a few times where um I've helped out some students where they have a project where they have to recreate a famous scene, but it was fun. We did the one where they're on the train, but we didn't have a train, so we changed it to a library.
That'd
But
be
yeah,
interesting.
that was back in I want to say maybe 2018 or something.
That'd be interesting if you did the Jack and Rose part in Titanic scene. That would be interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure someone's had to do it for a project.
When you have to cry or show emotion, how do you do it? Because I talked to another actress and she said, one said, "Don't cry." Other
Mhm,
said, "Just think about something sad and cry." Well, how would you
mhm.
do it? Someone asks you, you have to cry, Riley. You have to cry in a scene. How would you do it?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I think in the past, I used to be so focused on crying and making sure I got tears, but the emotion itself was not there. So it would be like, "Oh, she's crying, great, but we don't feel anything." So my advice with when it comes to crying is don't don't focus on the crying. Don't try to cry, don't try to do anything, just feel what this character is feeling right now, and how would that feel in your body and how would that feel for you. um that's a big thing that I would focus on, and then if the tears don't come, don't beat yourself up about it. There are like so many mechanical ways on set to create tears. Um, and like actors that are listening, I want you to know that if you're not able to cry on cue, that doesn't mean you're not a good actor. All that matters is that you're connected to how you're feeling in that moment and what is happening, and that will come across so much more than tears will. And then most times though, when you at least in my experience, when you are connected to that, the character and the feeling and the environment and what's going on and the other character, the tears just come naturally, and then you don't have to think about it. But there are many mechanical ways like tear sticks. I actually, when I was on set in September, one of my co-stars, she taught me this really cool trick because I have contacts, and sometimes people can make themselves cry by holding their eyes open for a long time. But since I have contacts, it takes a little bit longer for that to work for me. But she was like, no, I have contacts too. And this is how I do it. She's like, I actually think they help me more. And then she taught me how to do it. Really, it's just you do have to hold your eyes open for a minute. And you just focus on like that tingle in your nose that you get when you're about to cry, you know? And yeah, and then she taught me how to cry with my contacts in, and oh my goodness, is the best thing ever. I was like, "Thank you."
Like probably things
Yeah.
they teach you at the Meisner School of Acting, I think. But I remember because you took that. I remember at the Dustin Hoffman master class. Dustin Hoffman's a well-known actor,
Mhm.
and he says that when you're yelling at somebody, you yell towards a window and intend to your voice to break it.
Mm.
That's how you learn arguments and shouting at people and stuff. It's really it's like there's a lot of stuff to do when you're an actor. A
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
stuff.
There's
It's
so much
amazing.
creativity.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, how did your first professional role shape your perspective on the industry?
Oh, that's a really good question. Um, I think it it definitely had me really excited. Um, my perspective on the industry, I would say, hmm, I don't know if it changed much from what it was already. I just remember being super excited, and it was really cool to get to be on set. And I do remember I was pretty nervous, but yeah, it ended up being really great. And also, I guess too, I did learn that about long nights and night shoots. I had a lot of night shoots on that first gig, on that first project, and I learned to be prepared for night shoots with lots of caffeine. I'd say that's my biggest thing about it, the industry wise.
No doubt. What do you think has been your most memorable role so far and why?
Ooh, okay. For oh man, this is tough. I think um for me, it definitely was girl Lily on Girl Who Vanished, which will be coming out soon. Um, the experience was just it was so much fun. Um, I love it's a thriller, and I love thrillers, and I met some incredible people on that set. I feel like I made some, some lifelong friends there, and I just had so much fun. Um, and I can't wait for it to come out. An honorable mention, of course, has got to be Reagan and Where Flowers Won't Grow, because I wrote that, produced that, and starred in that. And it comes from my own experience. As a writer as well, I love to, of course, all writers love to write from their own experience, but it's just something that's so healing about it. And my biggest thing with Where Flowers Won't Grow is I just wanted people who had been through similar experiences to not feel like they were alone. Um, and that there was, you know, p- that they were supported and stuff. But yeah, I'd say those two so far.
If you were like, there's some actors who I remember one Richard Gere. He was supposed to play a part as a homeless person in a movie, so he spent a whole week on the street as a homeless person. What do you think of method acting? Like, what prevents you from taking your character home with you?
Mm, I so so when I did theater, I definitely did method acting. But I was also like a teenager. So what I would do is I would be in character the entire show. And I'm glad I had fun with it, but it is not for me. I think that I I personally feel like method acting can be dangerous sometimes for sure. And for me, what prevents me from taking a character home with me is if I'm dealing with a really heavy subject, or if I'm dealing with, say, a character that's quite dark. I always take time for myself before when I'm getting into the character, to meditate, take a breath, ground myself, get myself into something present, and yeah, that's kind of how I if I need to pull myself out of something. I'm also a huge advocate for mental health professionals on
Hmm.
set. Yes, it's we had one on Where Flowers Won't Grow, and we actually had two. Our director and one of our assistant directors, they just were absolutely incredible. So I will always be a huge advocate for that, especially if you're dealing with some heavy subject matter. Um, Always having mental health professionals on set is chef's kiss.
Yeah, definitely. I bet you, like, have you ever chose a part where you play a mean girl?
I mean it. If you even breathe in Jake's direction, I'll make you wish you were never born. Have a nice day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been cast as a mean girl before, lots of times. Um, I it's interesting because I do feel with the mean girl that is something that I'm able to flip in and out of pretty easily. I think just because I know that the mean girl is so opposite of me. But yes, I have played a many a mean girl in my day.
But you don't want to be recognized on the street as being that's the girl who plays the mean girl. I remember speaking to Vanessa Nottingham from the Darman series, and she plays a really good mean girl. And there was and she's not a mean girl at all. She's very friendly and warm and happy. And there was a time when she was arguing with her father outside a store, and that was the time when one of her fans said, "There's the mean girl. See, I told you." Bad timing. Oh.
Yes.
How do you approach preparing for both acting and singing performances?
Mm. So acting, have my own technique and stuff where I break down each scene. Um, and I love to pick if we're going to go shoot and we're going to go be on set. I love to pick songs and like create a playlist for this character. I know a few other actors that do that as well, and it's just been super helpful. For me, music. I mean, obviously, I'm also a singer. Music is something that really gets me into a character super easily. Like music can get me into a really happy mood, but also can get me into a really depressed, sad mood, depending on the type of music that I'm playing, and all sorts of other feelings and emotions. So curating that playlist is super important for me, and yeah, just understanding the character, who she is, why she's here, what she's doing, and what's her story. Um, and then how does she relate that to all the other characters and kind of going from there. But yeah, I love to meditate with my character and spend some time with her. But yeah, music is a big thing for me in preparing for a role. And with singing, um, definitely warming up. I would never not warm up. I love drinking throat coat, which is an herbal tea. It's really fantastic, and also gargling with salt water and eating an apple.
Oh, really? Eating an apple?
Yeah,
That's interesting. I never heard that before. What do you
yeah,
think?
eating
What would that do
apples.
for you?
For me, it really like soothes the throat and just makes it all nice and clear. I can't remember who told me that, but yeah, I've been eating apples before singing performances since I want to say since I was like in junior high or something. It's always been like a ritual of mine.
Years ago, I had some medical issues, so I lost 34 pounds, but I started eating apples and kiwis, and even today now I eat apples, and I could eat a whole bag of apples in 3 days, and they're really good for you. When they say an apple a
Mhm.
day keeps the doctor away, yeah, that's
Yep.
definitely true. But yeah, you got a wonderful voice, mezzo-soprano. Yeah, she used to be mine from Waitress. Like that is powerful.
Thank
That
you.
when I watched that, I was like, wow, she did a better job than the actual one that sang that. It's actually amazing. Oh yeah, trust me. um,
Oh, thank you.
who are your biggest artistic influences, and how have they impacted your craft?
Mm. Well, my number one, I will always say, is Emma Stone. Emma
Mm.
Stone is a huge idol of mine. She's just so like mesmerizing in her work, and she's always been a huge inspiration to me. Um, yeah, Emma Stone. I love Florence Pugh as well. Huge inspiration. Um, yeah, I also really look up to Quinta Brunson. She's the creator of Abbott Elementary, and she also stars in it. She's a huge, huge inspiration and idol for me because I also, write. I write as well, and I write roles for myself. And I'm currently developing a series right now. So Quinta has been a huge inspiration. Just like showing like, hey, this is possible, and it's just really exciting to see. But yeah, I would say those three. I have so many, but those are the main three.
Okay, let's say someone said you get a chance to act with Brad Pitt, George Clooney, or Chris Hemsworth. Which one would you choose?
Probably Chris Hemsworth.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, because I don't know, he wasn't the one that was married to my favorite Anna Faris. I can't remember which one that was. I think it was
That's Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Yes, yes. Because Anna
Yep.
Faris is my favorite actress. Um, so, okay, I'm going to ask you this question. If you could play any dream role on stage or screen, what would it be?
Mm. I have so many dream roles, but one very specific. I would love. Okay, I'm gonna do two. Number one is Gwen Stacy, but specifically Gwen Stacy that plays Ghost Spider. So she's a um different in a different Spider-Verse
Mhm.
universe. She is the one that gets bitten by the spider.
Yeah, yeah, I saw
So
that
if
one.
those of you have yeah, if you've seen Spider-Verse, that Gwen Stacy that's in that movie, I would love for one day for Disney and Marvel to write a Gwen Stacy Ghost Spider series, put it on Disney Plus, and your girl can play Gwen Stacy. That would be probably one of my number one dream roles. That's been a dream role of mine for a long time. Second one would be my favorite musical is Next to Normal. I love, love, love Next to Normal. And I want them to make a movie musical of it. And I'd want to play Natalie in that. That would be so fun.
Oh wow, there's gonna be a whole lineup of people want to play Natalie. So you have to be really good
Yes.
to them and say, "Hey, let's see, 100, Hey, 103. There she is. There she is. Hey, Riley, Riley."
Yeah, it's such a good show. It's such a good one.
Yeah. So we're talking about the Meisner training. So, but the Meisner technique and vocal lessons, how did they shape your artistry?
Mhm. So I don't really study Meisner too much anymore. I do feel it definitely help give me a solid foundation, and I do still use it from time to time. Um, but yeah, I think Meisner really helps me get a solid foundation. Um, I read Sandy Meisner's book as well, which is a great book. Um, and yeah, vocal lessons. I need to get back into vocal lessons as well. I haven't been in vocal lessons for a hot minute, but I am currently on the market for a new voice teacher. But yeah, yeah, they
Maybe
definitely have helped. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
you should travel and like do some opera, like your mezzo-soprano. Don't like give that up. Like polish that. Like, see you
I
on, you know.
yeah, I mean, I definitely am more of a contemporary
Hmm.
singer. I do love the belty songs, but my past vocal teacher, my voice teacher that I had when I was a kid, she would agree with you. She would want me to sing
Hmm.
opera.
Definitely. So, can you share a pivotal moment or challenge from your early career that defined your resilience?
Mm. Um, I think okay, so there was when the strikes happened, I had been cast in a feature film, the lead in a feature film, and I was super excited for it. It was that nitty gritty, like drama horror type film. Great script. I was really excited for it. And then they ended up postponing it
Mhm.
indefinitely.
Mm.
And I was really, really sad and bummed. And I just was like, man, I feel like I've just been auditioning and auditioning and trying my best. And I'm like, I just don't know what to do. And of course, the strikes needed to happen. And um, am so grateful for SAG-AFTRA and what they fought for, back in 2023. But since that, because of the strike, the film got postponed indefinitely. I decided that was the first time I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna create my own short film. I'm gonna make something. I want to make something. In this time of downtime, uh, I want to create, and that's when I came to my friend. His name is Louis Boache, amazing actor. He actually plays my husband in Where Flowers Won't Grow. And then a disclaimer: some people think I was married before, but it wasn't a marriage. We just had a marriage in the film. But I get that question a lot, so I thought I'd put that out there. But um, he plays my husband in Where Flowers Won't Grow. And I told him, I was like, look, what are your thoughts about this idea? I really want to make it happen. Things are super slow right now. And I think we could get a group of friends together and we just go and create and have fun with this. And he loved the idea. And we made it into what it is today.
You were lying to me so you could get laid. And here I am thinking I'm insane, that I'm crazy, but you're the one that's throwing everything away. And for what? For what?
Are delusional.
You need to move.
Reagan.
Please get out of the way.
Don't do this.
And I'm currently writing the feature version of it as well.
Nice.
But yeah, we went to the festivals, won awards, obviously, and it I think that was, looking back, is a good reminder, especially when things get tough now, because things are slow right now, and things are a little shaky. Uh, it's nice to see, like, hey, you keep going. Like, look at what happened from this creation, and you just never know what could happen. But I'm happy that instead of just being upset and just sitting and waiting, we were able to make something super amazing. So
But you were talking earlier about the strike with this SAG after strike. But I was reading your actor's resume and it said that you were non-union, so you weren't even part of that. So that didn't affect you at all.
it did, in terms of like auditions, because I also was I'm trying to get my eligibility as well. So in terms of like SAG auditions that were coming in, and the project I had booked was SAG, so that's why it got postponed and stuff. But yeah.
Well,
Yeah, luckily here in Utah, we still had some work, but yeah.
Well, before we continue, I want to talk about this part about the SAG after strike and what the reason for the strike was. One of them I want to pinpoint is the body scanning, and I want to know what you think of body scanning, the AI, and using your image and your voice, and all you do is sit at home and just watch an image of yourself in a movie. Like,
Oh yeah,
what do you
very,
think of
very
that?
against it. Yeah, no, 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 no. Absolutely not. It's scary. I think AI is a good tool, um, to maybe bounce ideas off of, to help you create lists and stuff, but that's, for me, that's where it should end. It shouldn't be recreating anybody's likeness and image. But again, of course, that would be up to the actor themselves to decide that. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it.
Okay, here's the scenario. So you were able to get a huge part as a wife, a sister, whatever, just a part of a character, the actress, and you love the part so much, and say, "Oh, by the way, we're going to put Jimmy Stewart in there." And Jimmy Stewart was dead since 1997. And said, "Oh, so you're going to be acting alongside AI body scan of Jimmy Stewart. Would you walk away from the film then?
I mean, I would hope that they wouldn't do that, but yeah, definitely doesn't align with with my values for sure. I'm really not a fan of using AI to replace actors. Just not a fan of it, but as
When
cool
you
as
were,
that would look.
yeah, yeah, because you don't know if is that really Riley up there? And says, "Hello, Riley." What? Let's
Yeah,
see.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
I definitely don't think AI should be taking jobs from any creatives, and especially those that have passed. Um, yeah.
Yeah, so you were talking about the short film where one of your friends played your husband. I thought, okay, now I want to get down to the whole issue with Reagan. Now, what was your motivation for taking on a stage name Reagan? Like you were Riley Jensen, and now you're Riley Reagan. How did that come to be?
Yeah. So I was almost named Reagan. Um, and I, I there was a experience that I had a few years back where I was just in a really unhealthy relationship, and I, not just that relationship, but I feel I grew up being quite the people pleaser, and I just wanted everybody around me to be happy. I often felt like I was in the middle of a lot of things, just doing everything I could to make everybody happy. So unfortunately, that got me stuck in some not great situations.
Mm.
Um, and I kind of allowed myself to be treated like a doormat. But there was this point where I was like, and this is something I'm still working on to this day. I still work on this, and that's why I wanted to take on the name of Reagan, because it's a reminder to me. Um, but I feel like, so I named the character Reagan in Where Flowers Won't Grow, and she is the younger version of me, and I feel like I owe a lot to her, for choosing me, and self love and loving myself first before I could love anybody else. So she's a reminder of me, especially when I get in those moments where I overthink about what someone might think of me, or this or that, or I'll just say this just to be nice. She's a reminder, to choose myself and to love myself. So I carry her with me everywhere I go. So now I am Rylee Reagan.
So when you wrote this short film and your friend and you played the wife and he played the husband, um, you were also a director of it as well?
No, I didn't direct it.
You
Our
didn't direct.
friend Jenica Anasuya directed it. She was incredible.
Well, are there any most well, you were once director and you also co-star in a few places. What's the most valuable lesson you learned from that?
Yeah, I did direct another short. It was a micro short that I wrote. Um I directing was really fun. I don't think I would ever direct and act in something again. That to me was really difficult. But I would be open to directing something, just completely directing it and not being in it. But in terms of like things that I write myself, I would rather just write it and perform in it. I wouldn't want to write, perform, and direct it. I think that, for me at least, excuse me, that's a little overwhelming. But I did really enjoy directing. It was lots of fun.
So you're handed a script. Can you walk us through your preparation process for a new role?
Yeah. So I'd probably read the script a few times, and then work on them scene by scene. And I do try to read each scene 10 times,
Mm.
before I even dive into anything. Uh, and then I just break down each individual scene. Outside of being in the script, I'm working on, character development. Who is this girl? What does
Mhm.
she want? Why is she here? What are her relationships? Um, how does she act? Where, like, how does she dress? Um, all of those questions. I just ask myself a bunch of questions, and kind of build out that character, and I find where that is for me. um Sorry, the sun is coming in a little bit. um I find where that is for me, and I spend a lot of time, meditating on that. But yeah, that's kind of my a quick breakdown of my process there.
So you take scene bit by bit. Do you dare to say to the script writer or director, say, "Can you change this line because it's not me at all"?
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the relationship. There with the film I shot in September, the director was also the writer, which was really awesome. And he had said, if there's something that doesn't make sense, or if you feel you'd say it a different way, let me know. And it was a very collaborative
Mhm.
experience. Um, but yeah, I think it just depends on the relationship there that that you would have with the director or the writer or producer. Um, but yeah, sometimes if it's really like not working for me, I will ask like, "Hey, is it okay if I say it this way?" Um, but yeah, it just depends on the relationship and how uh collaborative the space is.
So when you get the script, you give your character a backstory. You try to say, okay, the parents they did this for a living. She has sister or brother, and maybe he likes to prank her a lot and stuff. Or do you just say, oh, my character is whatever, and then you just go with it?
I definitely try. So when I read the script multiple times, I will pinpoint certain things for, I guess, that would create her backstory. Um, I I used to deep dive a lot into backstory, but I don't too much anymore. I do still create backstory, and I think instead of just writing a full backstory, it's more of me asking and answering questions. Um, instead of like writing a full like she was born on this date and da 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 da. Da. It's more of a question answer for me.
So how do you navigate the emotional demands of a complex character?
Mm. Wow, that's a good question. I so I mean, if we're working with one scene, um, I would spend some time with that scene. Like I said, reading it multiple times, and then kind of mapping out how this would feel for me and where I would feel this. I'm very kind of like like sensory a little bit, like sensations. So what sensation would this make me feel if I was going through this situation that she's going through? And I also I will cross out. I can't remember. It was one of the scripts from, oh man, it was a Netflix show that somebody had posted of the actor that broke it down, and he had crossed out the name of the character and put I. That's something that I do, that I started doing recently. So instead of being like she does this, it's I feel this. I experience this. Um but yeah, again, it's back to the I do I guess I do a lot of meditating, but back onto like meditating on these feelings, and like really just letting, if my character is feeling pain, letting myself feel that pain. Um and yeah, just fully swinging through with it. And then navigating it afterwards again is kind of like, you know, grounding myself to get out of that. Maybe spending some time with, if there happens to be a mental health professional or someone you can talk to, or a friend, that is really helpful as well. But yeah, I think really just growing to love the character, and or I guess really spend time with them, and allow yourself to feel. I think for a long time I pushed away feelings, um, but I found a lot, like allowing myself to feel through a character has also been very healing for myself as well. So,
Do the mental health professionals on site, do they really help you through it, whatever it is?
I mean, I've only worked with the two that I had on Where Flowers Won't Grow, and yes, they were so. We had a very very heightened emotional scene where my character basically just like freaks out in the car. She finds out her husband has been lying to her, and so she's hitting the steering wheel, she's screaming, she's crying, and I remember right after that I was after we called cut, my body was still shaking. I was still like in this like moment, and I was like, "Whoa, I've never experienced this before." But they both were there with me, and I just broke down crying, and
Wow.
they just like hugged me and talked me through it, and it was really, really, honestly, one of my favorite experiences on set. Even though it was a lot of emotions, it was so just like almost relieving and release, like it was like releasing all of these emotions, um and just having someone there just to hug me was it made the whole difference. But
Amazing. Well, at least they're there to help you.
yeah.
Uh, Talking about mental health, it's like things that actors and actresses had to go through, especially just even that emotional scene you said about you. I feel that he was lying to me, and then how it made you feel. That's acting if you can literally feel it in the end. Which role do you think? You think this role has pushed you the most creatively, and why?
um yeah, I would say definitely where flowers won't grow, and girl who vanished, did push me creatively. I mean, where flowers won't grow is my own experience as well, or inspired from my own experience, and that really showed me that I can create and I can write things. And um yeah, I mean, those two have been really just great experiences for. Sorry, I'm gonna turn this a little bit. um have been really great creative experiences for me, and just the collaboration on both of those sets was just incredible. But yeah, I think for the longest time I didn't feel like I could write scripts or I could create shows or anything like that, or films or anything. Um but Where Flowers Won't Grow really taught me that yeah, absolutely I can. And look at how like all these people came together to make this happen. It just was
Mhm.
just amazing.
Yeah, let me see if I can turn this light on because I know that it's getting dark here. Oh my, look at that. How's that look? Does it look okay? Should I keep it off?
Oh, that looks great.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So like now you have the script in your hand and you're a certain character. So do you have a preferred method for memorizing lines or staying in character?
Um So memorizing lines, I don't really memorize them as I used to in the past. In the past, I used to put them all into Line Learner, which is an app that will read the lines back to you, and you kind of like bounce off of yourself. I don't really do that anymore. I think now I break the scenes down, and after me breaking them down, they're kind of already memorized there. So I think that just kind of came with practice, honestly. Um but at that point is when I'll throw it into Line Learner, and I'll maybe do it once or twice. Um I don't want to run lines, just because I don't want to sound rehearsed when I
Mhm.
perform. But yeah, the I think it just has come with practice as I've broke down scenes, and the lines will kind of just be there sometimes. But yeah.
So when you were doing films like Where Flowers Won't Grow,
Mhm.
or any film that you're in, or even in a web series, there was a time when you had to do scenes that required improvisation or spontaneity. How did you approach those?
Hmm. Um, I'm trying to think if I had any scenes that we kind of improved.
Like you're allowed to go off script. I think there might be something you might come up with. Like, many bloopers have been kept in. I found.
Yeah. Um. Hmm. I I think in Where Flowers Won't Grow, since it was a group of friends that we were making this short, we kind of just played around with the final like scene where me and Louis were kind of just saying things to each other. Um And I think that really helped get into the moment of uh that scene, because it was very, again, it was very deep, emotional, driven scene. um but yeah, that's really the only one I can think of as of right now. I know I've definitely, we've played around and stuff with scenes and improving, but that's the only one I could kind of think of off the top of my head. And that wasn't, I mean, obviously wasn't very fun, but we were kind of improving, the conversation we were having and then jumping into the scene that we were filming. But
Hmm. Yeah, Riley, you don't take everything as sent to you. Like, what do you look for when choosing a project or a script? Is there anything in there that might, okay, I won't do this because this is not me, or oh, I have ethics, or um, like, would you take, like, how would you do that?
yeah, so oftentimes, I would talk with my agent or my manager and just say, this is, I'm not comfortable with this. Unfortunately, I feel like we'd have to pass, on this project.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, I definitely am open to reading some things, but there are a few things that I'm not very comfortable with. And in the past, my agent, my agent and manager have been great in relaying that information, to maybe the casting director or producer. And but yeah, I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy to say no. Um, but yeah, there have been maybe one or two projects that I've come across, and I'm like, I cannot, I can't do this. This is not. I mean, like you said, it's not me. Um, but yeah.
What kind of um, character were you in Girl Who Vanished? Because I believe that you were the one that vanished. Like, what kind of girl was she?
So, I actually wasn't. It was I played the lead in that. My sister is the one who vanished. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if I could say too much because it hasn't
Oh,
come out
okay,
yet.
that's fine. That's
But that's
fine.
that's the premise. Sister's the one that vanished, and she returns.
No, I know the Witch of Wonder Lane is still being filmed, so I can't really ask you questions on that one. But what I will do is ask you this one, which might knock you out of the park here. And so, when you're acting, like all the films you've done, even the ones that haven't come out yet,
Mhm.
how do you build chemistry with co-stars during intense or intimate scenes? Like, for instance, you were yelling at your husband because in the car because he lied to you.
Mhm.
How did you build
Um,
your chemistry with, well, whatever you are, like build chemistry with any co-star during intense, intimate scenes? How do you, like, what do you do?
yeah, I if it's someone I've never met before, I make sure to introduce myself and get to know them, and we get to know each other as people, and then kind of talking through the scene, has been super helpful. And yeah, but just being like clear about, and collaborative together as scene partners has been really helpful. Lucky for me, in Where Flowers Won't Grow, I obviously knew Louis, and we've been friends for a long time. But yeah, if it was someone I had met on set before, I would, you know, introduce myself, get to know them. If we have time, like maybe hang out for a little bit and then kind of walk through the scene.
How do you handle creative disagreements on set?
Hmm. I don't know if I've really had any creative disagreements yet. I I do feel like communication is key. It's huge. Um so yeah, I think I would just communicate how I was feeling and ask if there's any way we can maybe collaborate on something. Or um but yeah, I mean, I haven't had that experience quite yet, but I do think communication is huge. So
So what about collaborating with directors? How does that work for you? Because you said earlier on that if there's something you don't like in a script, the director would change it for you or something. How do you like that collaboration part?
oh yeah, I mean, that was when I was shooting in September. Yeah, that collaboration was great. um there was, and it wasn't like anything like we weren't trying to change the entire script or anything like that. It was just like, oh, this if I say this sentence this way, for me personally, it just rolls off my tongue a little easier. Um, but yeah, it was super awesome to have that collaboration, and he would be like, yeah, okay, that totally makes sense, or he'd be like, you know what, that doesn't really work for me, and here's why. Um, but yeah, it was really great experience to have that.
I talked to a few actors and actresses and they I was mentioning about taking on a disabled character, and one of them said that if the character's blind, then definitely give it to an actor who's blind. But if you become blind during the actual film, then yeah, take on the part. Like if you took on a blind character and you become blind later on in the film, how would you undertake that? Have you ever thought of stuff like that, or a wheelchair part, or something deaf maybe?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that. Um, I think it would really just depend on the script. I'm very much for, actors, actors with disability, and being seen. So I think it would really just depend on the script itself and kind of how that would work. But I would definitely be advocating for, if it was a wheelchair user, for a wheelchair user to be in that part. But yeah.
But what if you became disabled during the film? How would you
Yeah,
undertake
that
that?
yeah, I think that would be it'd be a little different. I think it would just depend on the script and how that would work out, but yeah.
Is there a genre that you'd love to explore but haven't yet?
Ooh, I would say, I mean, I'm not a big horror movie fan myself. I don't really like to watch horror movies, but I would love to explore that genre a little bit more. I love thrillers, which are not quite horror. Um, but I would kind of like to explore the horror genre a little bit, um, as well as like more period pieces. I think period pieces would be fun.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not into horrors. That's your partner. How do you stay motivated during periods of reflection or uncertainty? Like you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore, or I just need a break, or
Mhm.
I don't feel motivated. I just want to sit on the couch watching my favorite TV program in my pajamas. Yet you have to be out in 10 minutes because you got a scene to shoot.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I do feel. I mean, right now has been I mean, it's been an interesting time in the industry for a while now. Um, but yeah, I feel like right now a lot of creatives, not just actors, but everyone in this industry is kind of experiencing this, and it is so hard. It is so hard um to not want to throw in the towel, because yeah, it can be a lot. And for me, I personally am doing the artist way right now, and that has been a really, really great experience. Um, and also not like beating myself up during these time, like during, I guess, a lull or a time of reflection, like you said, allowing myself to be present in that, and allowing myself to take some time to reflect on things. Um, yeah, and just being like, this is where I'm supposed to be right now, and like if auditions aren't coming in, like auditions will start coming back, and it's all going to be okay. So just reminding myself to stay present, and also having things outside of the acting industry that I enjoy has been helpful.
Well, yeah, that's good that it helps you and that you just want to be the best you can at what you do.
Mm.
Do you think there are any common misconceptions about being an actress that you like to debunk?
um I guess this is like for anyone in the industry, really, that overnight successes exist. They don't exist. They do not exist. But yeah, yep, that's my biggest one, honestly.
Why don't you just find someone to write films for you and just do them? Like create your own studio, like Riley Reagan's studio or something.
I mean, that would be really cool. I would totally be open to it, especially since, I also write things and stuff. Yeah, I mean, who knows? It could happen.
Riley, how do you balance the public's perception of you with your private self?
That's a good question. Um, I don't I don't feel I'm too much in the public eye yet. Um, but I I used to, well, I still kind of do, working through this, struggle with what people thought of me and being misunderstood. Um, and like people's perception of, because it's so fascinating. Everybody has a different perception. Every single person does. And I the inner people pleaser in me was like, "Oh, but I want everyone to like me." Well, and and that's just not the case. It's not gonna be like that. Sorry, I keep like sneaking this way. Let me like
The
turn this
sun, I
way
know,
so
yeah.
the sun really wants
Because
to
it's like almost 7 o'clock there, yeah.
yeah, the sun really wants to peek in. But let's see here. Uh yeah, I've really had to learn that like I know myself, and that's all I can do. So, and I have to be okay if someone doesn't like the work that I put out, and that's their right. Like no one, I mean, you shouldn't expect everybody to like you. So that's been something I've been working through. Still, of course, the healing people pleaser, but um yeah, and then just like with, I guess, my personal or private life, um I think taking time off of social media is huge for me. Um that really allows me to be present and kind of take more time for myself and kind of balance that a little bit more. But yeah.
I know we're talking about misconceptions about what they think about actresses. One of them you mentioned was success, and you don't find out overnight. Do you think your definition of success evolved over time?
That's a good question. Um Yes, I do think my definition of success has evolved over time. I think when I first started this industry, I saw it as like getting all these bookings and all of these big things happening. But I think success really is where you find yourself a little bit more. You grow into your own authenticity, um, and allow that version of you to get you to these places where you want to be. Um, And, of course, it's still success when you get the big booking or the big thing comes in. But for me, I think that's been huge because for years, I feel like I was trying to pretend to be somebody else so people would like me. If you guys are listening, I really was a major people pleaser. It's a work in progress. But, um, yeah, I just wanted people to like me, and I was so focused on the external, but I think success really comes when you go internal and you listen to that inner voice and you follow your authenticity, and once you do that, that's when these external things will start to fall into place.
That's true. I'm thinking like it's true. If you, with all the acting experience you have, with the Meisner acting, whatever, if you could really think about it, if you could create your own role, what would that character be like?
Oh. Oh man. So I mean, I created Reagan, right? Um and in this pilot that I'm writing as well, I also created another character for myself. I think really looking at these two women that I did create, because one is comedy, one is drama. One's a comedic series, and another's like a drama short. Um, I think really I just would create something that was me, that was just so like butter. I think that she just, yeah, she would just have all the parts of me, and yeah. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I actually asked someone the same question, and they said I want to be a spy character. I want to like I've never been a spy, like
Ooh,
Jane Bond sort of thing. I'm like, wow, okay, or maybe a Bond girl you want to be. She said, no, I want to be Jane Bond. And it's like amazing, yeah, like a
I love
spy.
it.
Like, yeah, why not? Like
I love it.
yeah, you could be in Mission Impossible um, movie with Tom. Imagine working with Tom Cruise. That'd be amazing.
Yep.
That would be amazing. Um, yeah, so a few more questions for you because I don't want to. I know that you're busy at the moment. So,
Hey, no worries.
um, all right, cool. Let me tell my sleep first. Just kidding. Uh, so yeah, and I also you have a lot of fans. I know you have some fans there, and they want to know like what's a hidden talent or hobby that your fans might not expect? Because I know one of them is that you like amusement parks, roller coasters.
Well, that's so sweet of you to say that. um yes, I would say that that's probably my, I mean, unless you're close to me, you probably wouldn't know that, but I love amusement parks. I love theme parks. I love roller coasters. Um, I actually, I've worked in several different sections of the amusement industry, I guess. Worked in rides department at amusement park. I worked at an escape room. I did performing in theme parks, and yeah, I like every vacation I go on. I want to go to amusement park. I want to go ride a roller coaster. I was like the kid, and I still watch roller coaster videos, but I was the kid that would like get up on YouTube and watch roller coaster POV videos. Like that was me. But yeah, unless you're close to me, you probably wouldn't know that I'm a little roller coaster girly.
And then you watch Final Destination, and you no longer want to be riding a roller coaster.
Yeah.
What a scene, eh? Oh my goodness, that was quite a scene. I don't
Yeah.
like roller coasters myself, so I would never ride on them. Um,
Mhm.
so, so if you weren't an actress, what career path would you have chosen?
Oh, um, well, I think if I never, ever, ever wanted to be an actress, had no interest in it, I think I would have wanted to be an Imagineer at Disney. Would have wanted
Oh,
to create the rides and stuff like that. But yeah.
really? Like, what kind of job is that? Like, enlighten me.
Yeah, so they create the rides and the attractions at Disneyland, Disney World, all the Disney parks.
Mm.
Um Yeah, I would love, I do think if, you know, I had no interest in the film industry or the entertainment industry, I would definitely want to create roller coasters and rides and stuff like that.
That's amazing. Let's say someone's sent you back in time, met your younger self. What advice would you give them?
Mm. I would definitely tell her to um not push so hard, to not try to control things so much, um, to be present in the moment and to know that it'll work out and to know that she was putting in the work. I think I would push myself past, so far past burnout. I would just get so frustrated, and that would be my biggest piece of advice is one, stop focusing on the external so much. um, Go a little more internal and work on things there. And two, stop trying to control everything and stop trying to make it all happen right now. Just take your time and you will get there.
Would that piece of advice work for someone you meet today who wants to follow in your footsteps?
I mean, I'd hope so. I do think at least for me, when I was starting out in the film industry, I just really wanted to make it happen, and I did feel like I was behind. So I think at the core of that advice is really that you are not behind. You're not behind. There's room for everybody in this industry. Even if sometimes it doesn't feel that way. I think it can be hard because we'll be comparing ourselves to other people, like, oh, there's another blonde eye or a blonde hair, blue eyed girl, and she looks just like me. And but there's room for everybody in the
Mhm.
industry, and you're not behind. So I think that's kind of what I would chalk that advice up to if someone was starting today.
Okay, everyone, we're going to end the stream right there, Rylee. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you, Rylee.
You.
Really, thank you very much. Hold on one sec.
Of course.